All right, guys.
So Kisha has seared the meat individually just in the bottom of the pan with the coconut oil. And we're coming on, she's worked through the entire 6 pounds. And now it all goes back in. And then when it's back in, what are we gonna do? Or what are you gonna do? Sorry.
We are going to add more water to
Okay.
it. So here we're boiling water because it's just like how you were talking about layers earlier, right? If you introduce something, then there's a different layer. Well, when you add the water now, hot like this, when the meat is hot, then it blends in better.
Right. It doesn't have to come back up to temperature.
And that too, right. And
Cool.
so it doesn't chill the pork or anything like that, it just kind of keeps
Right.
going. And so.
And this smells so good. And so in this, the meat seared, it's not all the way cooked yet. It's going to stew as it goes.
Yep. So you
But
get an idea
it's
of what
got a
it looks
nice,
like.
the spice, the coriander spice, how do you pronounce it? How do you say it?
Culantro.
Culantro.
Uh-huh.
Okay, that spice coupled with the, what's the second half?
Achiote.
Achiote gives it this orangish color.
Mm-hmm. All right, so we did that way so that we didn't get all splashed, right?
Cool. Don't
And then
want to
we
get
could do the
splashed.
rest. No, it's never fun.
Okay. And so in this pot, the meat is that 6 pounds is about this high on the pot.
Mm-hmm. That's about right. And then we just mashed up some garlic, and just to get the stuff off. And now, big, huge chunks. It doesn't really matter. It's just a matter of it's gonna cook through, so it doesn't matter if it's chunky.
And so how many cloves?
3 cloves.
3 cloves. Okay.
Yes, for the 6 pounds
Let me
of
write that
meat.
down. 3 cloves garlic.
And he's literally
Mashed.
taking notes.
I am. I gotta
got
make,
them.
this is the behind the scenes of Kenny's Kantina.
Yes.
See, my big thing is like Kisha, I cook and I don't have recipes. So when I'm cooking, I actually, preparing for a show, I have to write down each step and how much I'm putting in. Because otherwise I'm a dash of this, a dash of that, I need a little more of that.
I mean, how do you explain that?
Right. And so it's been a great exercise for me of actually writing down all these recipes.
Yeah.
And letting people make it themselves and share it.
Right.
It's cool. I enjoy it.
Yeah. No, totally. Because that's, I guess, the most frustrating thing is when people are like, "How did you make that?" And I'm like,
I don't know.
And what's a dash to me? That's the handful. Right. We have different size hands. Like, what the heck? You want me to do a handful of yours or mine?
Yeah.
So.
So, and as you saw earlier, I'm translating her dash of this.
Yes.
Okay, that's a teaspoon.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
All right. So now we're gonna add the already boiling water to it. All right. And so now you can tell them how far up that is.
Okay, so
I'll start doing the next.
This is a pot, so this is about 3 cups of water that we added.
Mm-hmm.
And she's going to go ahead and get some more going because we're going to add some more later.
Exactly.
Just to save time, she's going to boil that.
Yep.
So given that 3 cups of water, Brian, come over and
You
get
can
a
show
shot.
them how high it is.
So given the 3 cups of water and the 6 pound of meat, we're just under halfway full.
Yeah, where are we on that pot right now?
We're about right
there. All right. So
we're about halfway under.
It's
Okay,
already
and
boiling.
all I did was just kind of make sure that meat's covered up.
Yeah.
So basically, the amount of water you want to put in at this stage is to cover up the meat.
Exactly.
So let me get out of your way.
And
so
you want to
get some
keep
more.
it that low initially, just because you'll start to add water as it starts to evaporate. But initially, you want to have that little bit because it just cooks it better.
Right. Well, what it does is it's making whichever you're adding more concentrated.
Exactly.
It's not diluted by too much broth.
Exactly.
So now you're going to add some more.
Yes, more of these little Sazon Goya packets,
Okay.
which would be
And
your
these
ricotta.
Yeah, so these are, what's that?
So there's one.
They're found in
It's
the
about a
Mexican alley.
teaspoon each.
Yes. So they say, and this is what's really
So you're doing
interesting.
4, 5?
this says, and this is something that you, I mean, I since you love to cook and stuff, you'll figure this out. But it says how it works. Just cook the way you always cook, because it's actually used for other stuff.
Right.
The same recipe, same seasoning, changing nothing except for every 4 people your recipe serves, add 1 packet of sazon y goya. 2 packets to a dish for 8. You'll wonder how you ever lived without it. Yeah. So people use it on their rice, they use it on all kinds of stuff. This has been my cheat sheet for being able to make stew pork.
Gotcha. So 4 packets of
Yes. So I'm gonna add 4 of them now. And I added also the 3 cloves of garlic in with it.
Okay. So we have the garlic in the head.
And you'll start to see it starts to turn more red. That's what we want.
Cool.
Do that. And then I'm going to add, I'll say probably about a teaspoon.
Teaspoon or tablespoon?
Teaspoon.
Okay.
Just a little teaspoon of that, of Worcestershire sauce.
Teaspoon
right?
of Worcestershire.
And in Belize we call it liam parents,
Right.
which is really funny because I was like, what the hell is that? For the longest time, and then I realized they were talking about Worcestershire sauce. So,
Okay.
yep, do
So
a
you
little
put
bit of
that in.
that.
Now you're gonna stir this, or
So now
Oh.
a little dash, I would say probably,
A
well, you
teaspoon?
see,
half teaspoon.
half teaspoon.
Half teaspoon of cumin.
Mm-hmm. And then we're going to add salt. Now, don't ask me how much because it's like this. But probably a good, I don't know,
Teaspoon.
definitely at least. And here's the beautiful thing though. With the
this
stew
is
pork,
good.
you actually add however much to taste. So once your pork is actually cooked and it's safe to start tasting the broth,
Gotcha.
you can see if you want to add more salt or not.
Okay.
It's not something that you have to do right off the bat. It's something that's to taste. Some people don't like a lot of salt.
Right.
My husband loves salt.
Gotcha.
Totally up to you.
Mm.
And so now, yes, we stir it up. Steer it up. That's
Steer it up.
that's our wedding song by Bob Marley.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And so see?
So. and
Come on,
get a
baby,
shot.
come check it
It's
out.
turning a reddish orange.
Mm-hmm. Perfect.
And so it's a really
Oh, and if you guys could smell this, you would be jealous. I'm right above the pan, wafting it. Mm. Yeah, Gio, you are out of it.
All right.
I only say that because Giovanni, he's my stepson, and he called his mother today just to get in on the stew pork. And he's in Tacoma, Washington, Seattle right now.
All right.
Arte.
And so our next step is
Now, when that's boiling, what I like to do is chop up all the veggies so that I have them ready.
okay.
But they won't go in until probably about the last hour of cooking.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
how long is this going to?
That's gonna
boil?
sit there now for, I would say, I'll check it again in about 30 minutes just
Okay.
to see if it needs more water. That's why we boil
Have
the
water on the side. Okay.
Because you do want to do boiled water if you missed that earlier. Just better
Okay.
to add to it. Otherwise, you're kind of stopping the process and then having it restart again.
Okay.
And then after that, we are going to, after 30 minutes, depending on how it's looking, we might start by adding the rotel that I was telling you about.
Okay.
Because you do want that in there. It has a nice little spice to it, right there, with habanero. And also it just absorbs all the flavors and
Okay.
stuff. So you want it
Cool.
early on, and it
All right.
will also
So after
kind of
about 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay. So cool. So
Yeah.
let's let this go
awesome.
and. We'll
Ready for your
continue.
yum yum sauce?
Yes.